Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spokane, where our mission is to join together to create a nourishing, liberal religious home and to champion justice, diversity, and environmental stewardship in our wider world, or in short, to create community, find meaning, and work for justice. Welcome to one and all. It's great to have you here this morning. I want to begin, as usual, by embracing all that you bring with you to our service this morning, to our space, to our community, your unique beliefs, your background, your lifestyle, your experiences, all that makes you uniquely who you are is welcome here this morning. And this includes those who hear us say this as a meaningful part of our ritual every Sunday, as well as those who might be hearing it for the first time today. You're equally as welcome and appreciated. And of course, this includes those who are streaming with us. We're always glad to know that you're with us as well. So welcome to one and all. Before we take a few moments to greet one another, I notice that our crowd is down a little today, probably because they're downtown. Thank you. Thank you, Sue Watering, for this wonderful hat. So you know where I'm going after service. Now, I understand that, they sort of published gathering at noon down at the Red Wagon, but the march won't actually begin until 1. So should be plenty of time for those who want to participate in the service today and also march to get down there. And I hope that you'll also stick around a little bit, if you haven't visited already, our volunteer fair that's happening in the back that gives you an opportunity to consider maybe some areas that you might want to get involved in our church, but also just to see everything that's going on and meet some of the incredible folks that make everything we do happen on a daily and weekly basis. So hopefully you'll check all of that out. So that's all I got. I brought my camera with me because I've been trying to interview folks during our social hour. I don't know if I'll do that or not. If you see me go back with my camera, I won't be in the receiving line. We'll see how it goes. If it looks like it's going to be too much to do all that and get downtown, maybe I'll do a little more filming next week. Thinking aloud. You're going, why is the minister thinking aloud in the pulpit? That's how relaxed I am with you. So just let's take a few moments to greet one another while I get my act together. Thank you. Thank you. And as always, there will be more opportunity to visit after the service, so I hope you will stay around for that. But we've got a lot to go over this morning and want to get out here a little early. I have kept my sermon a little bit shorter than usual. I will say when I mentioned that during the first service, only one person applauded, which, that's really good numbers, right? So, so let's move forward now by lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith, the symbol of our unity and our solidarity, of our openness and our inclusion, of our community and our individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world and a beacon of hope to those in need, and may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt wherever it's been found.
Our opening reflection is this poem of mine entitled Calendar Suite. It's divided into 5 parts, which will be self-evident. It was inspired by a line by William Stafford. Calendar Suite. Today, morning rings all the doorbells, evening turns on all the lamps, morning washes her face in dew, evening showers with the meteors. Morning arises, night falls, midnight turns over in bed. Tomorrow. Tomorrow is a boomerang flung forward in the calendar, and always it arrives back short today. Yesterday. Yesterday suffers myopia and fades slowly like the letters at the bottom of the optician's chart, blur and diminish until they are gone. Someday sits in her fancy dress, all spangled and shimmery, her lips colored red, ready to kiss. You yearn for her, always there is a secret longing. But when someday arrives, now in this moment, your eyes are closed or your back is turned. Now, a niche in the great wall of time, a sheltered moment, a shrine.
Now let's stand and sing a little poetry of our own. For those of you who like to access the hymnals, it's number 354, We Laugh, We Cry. And for those that like the screen, there it is. So please stand as you're willing and able. We laugh, we cry. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need glory.
Okay. Looks like are we on? Check, check. Okay. Looks like our screen locked up. Not sure why, but we'll try to get that working at some point. Hopefully by the next song, but who knows. But we are going to go ahead and proceed with our story for all ages. Violet, if you want to come down. As well as any others who want to come for our story. Now, I brought a friend to help out as always, or I've invited someone. I'm not sure who it's going to be today. Someone I haven't actually met before. I don't think any of us have. Let's see here. My goodness, this is an interesting character. Yes. How are you, sir? Okay. You're okay? Yes. All right, well, who are you? Do you mind introducing yourself? I am the Great Swindini. The Great Swindini. Well, what is it that makes you so great? I'm a mind reader and a fortune teller. A mind reader and a fortune teller. Oh, that's great. Would you mind? Don't say it. Let me guess. You want me to read your mind? That's exactly what I was thinking. Incredible. Okay, yeah. All right, and put the blindfold down on my face. Okay. Cover your eyes up here. There we go. Can you see? Not a thing. Okay. What should I do? I want you to think of a number between 1 and 10. 1 and 10, that's kind of a small number. You could make a lucky guess. All right, I get your point. Let's make it between 1 and a million. 1 and a million. Okay. All right, get the number in your head. Yeah, write it down and show it to the audience. Okay. Let's see here. I see you can also levitate. Yes, that's a tower I have. Okay. I'm going to show the number to the audience as you suggested. Don't read it now. Just look at it, but don't say it out loud. Okay. Okay. You ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. The number is 632,366. Wow! Amazing. You really are great. Try another, would you? Okay. I want you to think of someone who's gone that you wish was still here. Someone who's gone that I wish was still here. Okay, I've got it. All right, write it down and show it to the audience. Okay, levitate. Okay, I'm ready. Show it to the audience. All right. Yeah? Surprise. Okay, you ready? I'm ready. Okay, I know who it is. It's the Rockadonna. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone wishes the Rockadonna was still around. That's true. Wait a minute. I see it. I see country roads. I see eagles fly. I see the Rocky Mountains. You're thinking of John Denver. Wow, it's like you're inside my head. You gotta try one more. Please try one more. All right. I want you to picture your favorite color. All right, my favorite color. I can do that. That's pretty easy too. You got it? I got it. All right, write it down and show everyone. Okay. Okay, all right. You ready? I'm ready. Okay. Think about it now. All right. Okay, I got it. It's red. No, don't tell me. I'm still thinking. Picture it in your head. Okay. Well, I got it now. What is it? It's green. No, it's not green. Oh, hold on. I know it's not. It's coming to me. Okay, I got it now. What is it? Yellow. No, it's not yellow. Hey, hang on here. You're just guessing, aren't you? Well, actually, why don't you check the note in your pocket? The note in my pocket? What note? The one I snuck there when you weren't looking. Let's see. There is a note in my pocket. Let's see. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at that. Wow! Wow! Holy mackerel. You really are great. Okay, now I want you to predict my fortune. You're a fortune teller. Can you predict my fortune? Of course I can. I predict a chance meeting will open new doors to success and friendship. Wait a minute. That's a fortune cookie. I got that just last week. Well, of course it's a fortune cookie. No one can tell the future. Wait a minute. You're not really a mind reader or a fortune teller. Of course not. I'm an entertainer. It's all in an act. You got to make your own future. You got to work hard to make the kind of future you want. You know, I'm a little disappointed that you're not actually a mind reader or a fortune teller, but actually that's a pretty good message, that the future is what we make it, and we've got to work hard to make it what we want. That's right. Now, getting that 100 ducks, I got a gig at the Scientology church. The Scientology church, yeah, those guys will believe anything. All right. Thank you very much. Swindini the Great.
Today we have a special collection. If you open your order of service, you'll find a small envelope. Please use this if you wish to donate, and don't worry about looking it shut as we reuse these envelopes. Our special collection today is on behalf of Bridget's Cloak, an all-volunteer, non-religious, homeless outreach program. The volunteers collect and distribute snack packs, hand warmers, socks, hats, scarves, gloves, blankets, water, coffee, books, tote bags, hygiene items, and more. Since January of 2013, church members Joan and Ted Medina have given out thousands of such items. Their mission is to create beloved community, to act with kindness and compassion, to alleviate suffering and hunger through acts of outreach without requirements, to treat those most in need with dignity, respect, and fellowship, and to always remember that we are all connected. If this ministry speaks to you, we invite you to give generously. We now gratefully give and receive this morning's offering, which sustains this community and our mission to the larger world.
We'll now kindle our candles of care for those who are most on our thoughts and minds this morning. And we'll begin with a candle for church member Corinne Morrill, who was diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer this week. She says that her prognosis is good, but she would certainly appreciate our thoughts and prayers as she prepares for treatment. Also a candle for church member Chuck Smith, who is currently at Deaconess Hospital recovering from influenza, which led to pneumonia, which led to some complications with his heart. He can't have a lot of visitors at the hospital, obviously, but he would appreciate cards and letters. And Chuck recently moved to the Veterans Home on Fifth Avenue due to complications from his Parkinson's disease, and would love to have visitors once he gets back. So please keep that in mind. And let's see, I had a couple during the break there. Oh, thank you. Joy Olson fell and hurt her shoulder. Am I dislocated it and may have to have corrective surgery. Joy usually is in our choir and isn't with us today because of that. So please keep her in your thoughts. Oh, and Lisa, on a positive note, yes, and I'm completely forgetting the name of the publication now, but
Art Chowder.
Art Chowder, like clam chowder.
Right.
Yep. So Art Chowder, and I've seen it. It's a magnificent spread, not only because of the photography and the layout, but a wonderful article on Lisa, our wonderful Spokane poet. So I hope that you'll get a chance to read that. But also congratulations for the recognition. We all know of your wonderful poetic skills, because your poetic art, I should say, because you share those with us whenever you lay lead. And then I also want us to kindle a candle for George Garcia and his family. You may recognize his name. He is the undocumented American who the Trump administration deported this week, even though he was brought here as a child 30 years ago, has a family who are all U.S. citizens, has no criminal record, and is a hardworking small business owner. We kindle a candle for his entire family, as well as undocumented Americans who are concerned about their own status these days. Let's take a moment of silence on behalf of others we may be thinking of, and as always, you'd be welcome to name them aloud if you'd like. Those named aloud and those embraced in our silence, and all those who are suffering in our world at this hour, we hold in our community with compassion.
As we move into our meditation, I invite you to find a comfortable, receptive posture. Take a couple of deep breaths. We will begin with a quotation from Sir Francis Bacon and then move into silence. Begin doing what you want to do now. We are not living in eternity. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake.
This is a treatment of a passage from the Gospel of Luke. Can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your span of life? You know how to interpret the appearance of earth and sky, but why do you not know how to interpret the present time? Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? What does it profit them if they gain the whole world, but lose or forfeit themselves? Thank you all so much. Thank you, Deb. I first started thinking about and planning this morning's sermon in November when members of our endowment team suggested that we have a Legacy Sunday emphasizing the endowment's importance to our church. And I gladly agreed because one of our priorities is having a sustainable budget. One of your priorities, expressed priorities, is being part of a church with a sustainable budget. And a healthy endowment can help us make that happen. An endowment is an investment fund, the profits from which an organization can use if it wants. Its principal is always left alone except in the most extreme circumstances, and I've never actually heard what those extreme circumstances might be, so pretty much it's left alone. Though the appreciation earned can be used for special projects or for general operating expenses. About 3 years ago, we decided to just let the fund grow to $500,000, which is a few thousand more than our current annual operating budget. This way we'll have about a year's operating expenses set aside in case there is some sort of emergency we should need it for. And the annual appreciation earned on $500,000, maybe $15,000 or more, will make a significant and sustainable contribution to our annual operating expenses. $500,000 might seem like a lofty goal, especially considering the fund was under $190,000 when I came here just over 6 years ago. But thanks to the continuing contributions and gifts from our members and the wise investment strategies of our endowment team, when I was approached about the Legacy Sunday just 2 months ago, it had already grown to over $400,000. So we felt pretty confident that by generating just a little more awareness about it, we could reach our goal within the next year or so. This morning, I'm eager to let you know that between November and now, when we first started thinking about this, thanks to some very generous gifts, our endowment fund is over $535,000. And this means we'll begin benefiting from this continuing source of income starting our next calendar year in July. I also want to make a special acknowledgement for the generosity of Dolores Beebe. Dolores is somebody you've probably not heard of and never met because she was a perfect stranger to our congregation. Dolores was a Unitarian Universalist who quietly admired our church from afar, all the way from her home in Ridgewood, New Jersey. When she passed away on February 9, 2014, at the age of 92, she left us a significant portion of her estate, about $80,000. Her enormous bequest is what brought our endowment fund, close to the $400,000 milestone, and the appreciation the amount generated has been a significant part of getting us to where we're at today. Dolores had no family that she left behind for us to say thank you to, so we can only hold appreciation in our hearts for the kindness of this stranger, who believed enough in what we're doing here that one of her final acts was to help make sure that our church continues to thrive well into the future. And that's what her gift and those given by many over the years are about. For as nonprofit expert Scott C. Stevenson says, an endowment fund should act as an insurance policy for the future. And this is really what I want to talk about today, the future, or more specifically, the role of the future today. This may seem an odd juxtaposition, but I promise not to get so convoluted that I end up trying to convince you that I'm my own grandma. I've thought seriously about the role of the future in our lives ever since I read Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, in 1999. The same year I re-entered the ministry as a Unitarian Universalist, coincidentally. And I'm not sure if that the book is the guide to spiritual enlightenment that its subtitle promises it to be, but the simple yet profound truth of the book seems to be almost indisputable, that nothing exists outside of now. Nothing ever happened in the past. It happened in the now, Tolle says. Nothing will ever happen in the future. It will happen in the now. For the most part, practically speaking, I think this is so. And it's a principle that helps me appreciate where I'm at and what I have instead of fretting over what I want or what I regret. There doesn't seem to be a rewind or forward button on the remote control of our lives. If now is the only moment there is, I don't want to miss it or waste it because I'm stuck in the past or anxious about my future. Even so, upon reading The Power of Now, as a philosopher, I had to consider the truth value of its basic assertion, which Tolle calls obvious, that it's not possible for anything to happen or to be outside of the now. If this is so, then Tolle's assertion would mean the discovery at long last of an absolute truth. Yet as Bertrand Russell once said, in philosophy, what is important is not so much the answers that are given, but rather the questions that are asked. Or as my own philosophy professor, Dr. Wallace Roark, used to teach his students, we must always consider what's on the other hand. This is especially true of claims considered certain or self-evident, since, as Russell continues, no definite answers can, as a rule, be known to be true. Thus, as obvious as what Tolle says about now may seem, I had to ask if now really is the only moment that exists, if nothing exists beyond this moment, if the past is gone and the future is yet to come, if neither has ever existed as anything more than now. And even if it's possible that right now someone or something exists in a different time, in the past or in the future. In 2001, just a couple years after The Power of Now, I read Richard Gott's newly published book, Time Travel in Einstein's Universe, which I purchased right after hearing the Princeton physicist give a lecture about it at a bookstore in Louisville, Kentucky. Unfortunately, his physics are mostly over my head, but I understand them enough to make a reasonable argument that now may not be the only moment that exists. That different timelines may overlap and influence each other. The way film editors overlay two film strips to make their images slowly dissolve from one to the other, both appearing and momentarily seeming to exist at once. Someone once told me that if we could see our entire lives all at once, we'd look like snakes, starting off very small at the tail of our lives, gradually getting thicker, leveling off for some length, and then slowly shrinking before our noses blunt at the end of life. But because of our limited senses, which perceive only a narrow spectrum of reality, one frame of our existence, that frame called now, even though there may be a lot more to it. This is why Einstein included the dimension of time in his special theory of special relativity. I want to say special theory of relativity. But it was his theory of special relativity, because as Gott summarizes, time is measured differently by stationary or moving observers. In other words, time, including this moment of time, now, is not an absolute, but like everything else, is relative. Gott gives another example of this similar to the image of our time bodies resembling snakes. In physics, seeing the entire path of our bodies this way is called our world line. Everything that exists has a world line, including our own world, the Earth. In general, to get somewhere on our planet, we need only think two-dimensionally, meaning we only need two coordinates, longitude and latitude. But say we're going to go to an appointment at a downtown high-rise, then we need a third dimension. We need height. We need to know which floor the appointment is on. These three dimensions, longitude, latitude, and height, are spatial dimensions. Since it's an appointment, however, we also need to consider a non-spatial fourth dimension. We need to know the time of the appointment. To better explain four-dimensional world lines, God asks us to imagine a movie of our solar system showing the Earth's orbit around the sun. Looking at it on the screen, one frame at a time, the sun remains a stationary circle with a small blue dot slowly moving around it. But if we were to cut that film into individual frames, stack them on top of each other, then stare down through it, that stack, as God says, Earth becomes a blue helix winding around the yellow rod at the center. The helix is the Earth's world line, its path through space-time. If we were to think four-dimensionally, we would see the Earth is not just a sphere, he says, it is really a helix, a long piece of spaghetti spiraling around the world's line through time, looking coincidentally a lot like a strand of DNA. In this way, if it's so, our perception of time represents but a limitation of our senses. This is just one of many examples physicists consider when thinking about the relative nature of time. But it is enough to suggest the assertion that now is all there is may not be so obvious as it seems. It may be that even now, in this moment, the past, present, and future coexist and commingle. But we don't really need to study physics to understand this. Tolle begins the power of now by saying that early in his life, he experienced overwhelming anxiety and depression. And he was freed from this once he learned to be more present, to concentrate on the here and now, not lamenting on the past or worrying about the future. Considering the ongoing impact severe trauma can have in our lives, causing us to respond to the present as if it were the past, and sometimes to treat every new person or situation as if they were part of our past, or to feel as with PTSD that we are in constant danger because of the past, in addition to anxiety issues and disorders that cause us to worry too much about the future and all of its uncertainties, then learning to focus on the present moment, on the now, seems like a pretty good strategy, most of the time. This is the reason many religions emphasize the importance of being present and being aware of what's happening in the here and now, rather than, as Jesus said, worrying about tomorrow. The beloved Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh puts it succinctly: life exists only in the present moment. To lose the present is to lose life. Being haunted by the past or paralyzed by the uncertainty of the future is no way to live. Being attentive to the moment, to what's really going on, not to what's already happened or what may never happen, seems like a more meaningful way to go about it. But on the other hand, an old Taoist saying goes, if one dwells on the past, then one robs the present. But if one ignores the past, one may rob the future. The seeds of our destiny are nurtured by the roots of its past. This simple saying is packed with a lot of insight. Firstly, it partly agrees with the power of now, that if we're stuck in the past, a mindset psychology calls fixated, then we diminish the present, the now, by missing what's really happening around us, by relating to others as surrogates from our past, rather than as who they really are, and remaining immature individuals who may never achieve our full potential. Even so, being stuck in the past is one thing, but ignoring it is another. For the past and future are intricately connected. Taoism tells us because the future is rooted in the past, built upon all that has come before. The evolution and advance of life, the wisdom of our ancestors, learning from our mistakes, and pursuing our dreams. And now, the present is the time that we must honestly consider the past if we don't want to repeat our errors and injustices of the past. Not the chimera that we call the past, the delusion of the good old days that never were. Isn't this the problem with our nation? The delusion of the good old days? The lies about discovering a new country? Of taming an uninhabited wilderness? Of making a loving upper middle class home for little Beaver Cleaver and his big brother Wally? Of a father knows best society, of happy days in Mayberry, and of sacrificing the heroic lives of our brave sons and daughters who fought for our freedom, so that our great God-blessed America can continue fulfilling its manifest destiny of spreading democracy around the world. By denying our past that is built on genocide and slavery and inequality and greed and violence and war and occupation, we can never get past these nightmares to build the just and peaceful future we dream of. Likewise, if it weren't for those who came before us, the primordial chemical stews, the single-celled ones, the blobs of algae, the water beings, the crossovers, the creepy crawlies, the four-leggeds, the knuckle-draggers, and the stone people, none of us would be here today. And were it not for us, there could be no tomorrow. Or at the very least, tomorrow will be what we make of it, for better or for worse. Just as today is the result of too many who just a year ago didn't fully consider the future, of making an authoritarian, racist, and misogynist leader of the free world, not considering the impact today's decisions will have on future generations, upon our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, our neighbors around the world, and upon the planet itself, may have dire consequences sooner than any of us imagine. Of course, we must think about the future. The future is a part of the present moment. The future is a part of the present moment because, like an expectant mother, this moment, this now, is pregnant with possibilities, with choices. Thus, some of the most potent words in the human language are words like mission, vision, hope, and dreams. Though he wasn't here to see him, Barack Obama was Martin Luther King's dream. And had not King struggled to make his dream come true, had he not dwelt on the future, this generation would not have seen our nation's first black president. As the Jay-Z song, "My President is Black," says, Rosa Parks sat so Martin Luther could walk. Martin Luther walked so Barack Obama could run. Barack Obama ran so all children can fly. Unfortunately, we still have some dreaming to do before all children can fly. The black ones, the brown ones, the poor ones, the gay ones, the girl ones, so many more. And that's why now this moment, our moment, must be impregnated with possibilities. With this possibility we call hope. This vision of a better tomorrow for our children and the children of the future, because these are the things that move us right now to start building a better future. Just like our single-cell ancestors did 4 billion years ago. And that's what a legacy is. Not something we leave behind, something we leave forward. Our legacy is all that we do to make our hopes and dreams for our children and our world come true, even after we're gone. Even if, as King said, we only see the promised land from a distance and that's enough, but never enter it ourselves. In our church, there are many ancestors no longer with us who contributed to our future in many ways, including to our endowment fund. But there are many others still with us who are part of our legacy society, those who have contributed to the fund and helped us reach a milestone that will now help us sustain our community long into the future, making sure it exists for people nobody here will ever know. That's our dream, our vision, our mission, the legacy that we give forward to the future. So that's the best theory I have in response to my question about how tomorrow impacts today. Like one groping in the darkness, tapping what's ahead with a cane, we can't see what lies ahead, and so the future sometimes doesn't seem real, and sometimes it's scary to move forward in the dark. Yet even in our limitations, unable to observe the fourth dimension of time in its wholeness, we can imagine what's there. We can imagine what might be there and hope about what's there. And our legacy, what we leave forward, amounts to all we do and give right now to make our dreams come true for all the children of tomorrow. Thank you.
We're going to sing number 131, Love Will Guide Us. It'll be on the screen, and you can access your books if you'd like. It's in the gray hymnal. No screen. Okay, so it's books, folks. Gray hymnals, please. Stand as you're willing and able. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the
benediction is adapted from Maureen Killeran. We each have gifts that can make a difference in the world. In this coming week, may you do at least one thing to support the broken, to welcome the stranger, to celebrate what is worthy, to do the work of justice and love. Amen. Blessed be. Salam alaikum and shalom.